That's better. Live united.
Dealing with bullies, I don't think I was ever bullied for my orientation. This despite back in 3rd grade for show and tell one morning, I actually got up and sang the opening song from Hello Dolly, Just Leave Everything to Me. If you want your roof inspected, eyebrows, tweezed, or bills collected, just leave everything to me. I got away with that, but
when I was 6 years old, my mom started dating a woman. I didn't really understand this because of my age at all, so to me it was just my mom's best friend.
When I was about 17, I found a letter that my older brother had written to my father, and what the surprise was that in the letter he was actually coming out himself.
I don't know if I know any person growing up who didn't have to deal with some form of bullying or teasing or ostracism that made them feel other than who they really were.
Due to the fact that I was gay and didn't know a whole lot of other individuals in the school who might be gay, I often felt alone, or perhaps that no one was really interested in me because of that.
When I was 10 years old, one of my best friend's dads went to the Upper Arlington PTO and told all of the kids' parents not to allow their children to play at my house because my mother was gay. I lost all of my friends from the time that I was, from the time that I was in 1st through 5th grade.
I got all the names, faggot, queer, Fruit Loop, everything that you could imagine. And I was being called and told that I was all these things before I even knew what that thing was.
I remember being called a lesbian when I was 7th grade or so, and then sort of trying to tamp that down and then never said anything about it again. So it was a code of silence. And
from my own experience, particularly in junior high and high school, were horrible for me.
In some regards, I had it pretty easy because my family never judged me for being gay.
I first realized that I wasn't straight when I was in high school. And of course, as most of you know, that is a very uncomfortable time to realize that you're not like the majority of other boys and girls that
I was picked on. The usual, slam your books out of your hand as you're walking around the hall in the morning, and push you in your locker, and of course got called faggot.
And I grew up in the middle of farmland. At the time, I thought I was different than everyone else around me.
I was bullied in high school. I was tortured, humiliated.
I was 16 years old. Up until that point, I had known that I was a bit different than other folks.
When I was a kid, I realized very early on I was a compulsive storyteller, which is great. I consumed everything I could find, books, movies, anything.
There were painful moments growing up, being black and gay in the South.
And so I was fortunate enough to actually have someone like myself, and also someone who was close to me as being part of the family that I could actually talk to and feel comfortable with and ask questions of as I began to figure out what it meant to be a gay man and how I should process that.
What made the difference for me was finding my passion. And that's what I'm encouraging each of you to do, is find your passion.
One of the places where I found my safety and refuge was through writing and journaling, and really almost having a need to get it down on paper, not even knowing what would come out at the end of it.
I became my high school's drum major. I was twirling a baton and I was leading the band through football games, public events, and when I became drum major of my high school marching band, that made a difference. I wasn't just a drum major, I was the drum major.
There was nothing in the way we grew up that said it was, one, okay to be gay, because it just wasn't there.
Don't consume it all. And eventually that'll all end, and believe me, once high school's over and you move on, you'll find great friends, you'll lead your own life, and that will all be a memory.
I can look back on this and laugh a little bit now. It wasn't so funny then, but I didn't come out until I was in my mid-30s. Don't wait so long. There are resources in the gay community that will provide you with mentoring, with support, with advice, to help you make wise choices as you go through this experience.
Don't let that be the first thing that someone has to know about you. To let them see all the other wonderful things about you.
I really reached out to my close friends, teachers, counselors, even the principal.
And I recall back in high school how difficult it was, how bad I wanted to get out of the country and move somewhere where there were more people like me. And when I did, there was a support group of peers that made it much easier, and it got much better.
My mother told me, this may not help you much now, but I just want you to know, I want you to remember that there will come a day when people will respect and love you for who you are.
I know for a fact, being 32 years old, that whatever pain I felt when I was 16 or 15 or 14 or 8 or 7, it makes me the person I am today.
I now have a completely different crowd of people that I spend time with, and I know that although I went through this horrible thing at a young age, it's actually put me at an advantage as an adult.
And I think what really made the difference was that the kids saw something else other than my sexuality. They saw me doing something that I believed in. They saw me doing something that I was good at.
Now that I've grown up, I have access to all these stories. And I can say, it does get better.
If you are bullied, report it, document it, follow through on it, be persistent, and don't take it.
So those things that made me different, that people picked on me, people teased me about, those things now, I actually sell, so to speak. I have turned them into assets. You mean so much to so many people. It does get better.
I am Janet Jackson, President and CEO of the United Way of Central Ohio, and I am here to tell you it can get better now. You are not alone. You have powerful allies and people who will stand with you today. The United Way is strongly committed to ensuring our community celebrates diversity and values the contributions made by every resident, including young people. We work to foster the LGBT leaders of tomorrow and help make certain that LGBT youth have access to support services close to home. Growing up, I too experienced and overcame challenges and barriers placed in front of me by those who did not appreciate diversity. It gets better. Now, while you are in school, take advantage of the opportunities to develop yourself and explore your strengths. Remember, you have rights and can get help now dealing with problems like bullying. Call the number on the screen, and the good people at Kaleidoscope will connect you to someone who will listen and understand. Should you face challenges in the days ahead, please take strength from the knowledge that you have so many friends and supporters across the community that stand with you and support you.